Chapter 7, we're going to talk about bridges and ramps. So we're going to open our Bighorn Drive project. Once we're in the Bighorn Drive project, we're going to take a look at placing a bridge over here to the left. And there underneath the structures, place bridge tools is where those are located. Now, to place a bridge, you also have to have new roadways. Okay. So we're going to have to go out here and place a new roadway, and we're going to create one from another roadway up above, and we're going to go cross over Highway 50, and we're going to go ahead and connect these roads up. So we have a new roadway that needs to go through here, and so we're going to have a bridge that goes over the top of Route 50. So to do that, we have to have, like I said, a new roadway, which we have now, and then we're going to go adjust the profile of that to make sure that we have good clearance here. We're going to exaggerate the clearance. In a later chapter, I'm going to show you how to see what that clearance is. But for right now, we're going to go make any adjustments that we want to this profile. So right in here at this location, I'm going to adjust it up. You can kind of see in the top window what that location is because it draws a little line where we're located. And you can see Route 50 down below. Okay, so like I said, we've gone way high here, and we're going to go show later how to figure out what that clearance is. So we'll make some other little adjustments to the profile. And when I'm happy with that, I'll just left click out in a blank area and I'll unselect that. And then we're going to go to the bridge tools, which is right over here to the left. There's structures. And we're going to go to bridge. Now the bridge has all kinds of default settings set up. So there's different options down here at the bottom that you can do. You can do curved girders or wing walls. You also have a template that you must choose for the bridge. Right now it's set on some kind of a 2-lane, but there is a bridge folder out here. So we'll go into there. Right now it's set on bridge barrier 2 lanes, and you can take a look at all the different bridges that are set up in here. So there's quite a few different templates that it already has. We're going to go ahead and let it use the bridge barrier. We'll let it use a pre-stressed girder, and all you have to do is go out here and locate a roadway that you want to place it on. So you can select the roadway, and then you want to left click a start location and an end location for your bridge. Okay. Once you do that, you can come in and kind of rotate this view around. I like to center kind of on the bridge. You can rotate this around. Take a look at it. One thing about bridges in the current version, it does not cut out imagery for the bridge because it doesn't have any end conditions. Anything with an end condition will cut out the imagery, but this particular bridge in this particular version does not cut it out. So if you want to see the bridge above the imagery, you have to raise up your bridge even further to get it to go over. That is not ideal, and it has been turned in to Bentley on this, and hopefully they will work on a remedy for that. Okay, so now I've got that raised above the existing ground all the way. I can go and clean up the profile a little bit more to get what I want. And then I've got a bridge placed out in my drawing. And you can see it puts bridge piers out there. If you take a look at this bridge pier, once you highlight it, you can change the type. So you're not locked into what kind of type that it has. There's several different types here. And every time you change it, the settings will change a little. And the view of the pier will change as well. So here's a pile bent. Tapered cap, I believe, is the default. And then you can also just do a standard wall. Okay, if I change this to an invert T cap, there's all kinds of things you can do here. Now, I don't like its location. I can move it. I can give it a skew angle over here, or I can also do it out on the drawing. Distance along bridge, I can move that there, or I can just click on these arrows and move it, and that's the same as changing the distance along bridge. This is the skew angle, so I can modify that, and you'll see the skew angle will update over in that window as well, or you can type it in. If I didn't need it exact where I want it, just type it in and it will modify. Down here at the bottom for the columns, I've got circular. If I want rectangular, I'll just change it to that. The diameter is then given, and I can change that. The number of columns is currently set at 3, so I have 3 on there, and then I can change it to 5, I can change it to 2, change it back to 3. Okay, if I highlight the bridge, the same sort of thing can happen here. I've got a bridge 1 default. I can change the name of that if I want. Let's say that it's an A number, so I can do A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever the bridge number is, and that will save that bridge name. The alignment name, right now that roadway that I just drew in there just gave it some name, so I'm going to call this one Polite Road. And so that'll change the name of the roadway along with the road on the bridge. Okay, so our new road is in there. Give it a speed. You can change the bridge template if you want to at this time. You can change the classification. Okay, girder types, change those. And then the number of girders as well. So you can change all that information about the bridge once it's placed out there. You can move those piers around. You can delete them. You can do just about anything with them that you want. As I rotate around, you can kind of see how that bridge is placed in there. Okay. And you can go select, and you can kind of see it. It also has the bridge stopping there, and then there's another piece out just to the left of that that it kind of uses as a transition. You can also lengthen and shorten your bridge by selecting on the alignment and then selecting it again, and it will give you those arrows to move it left or right in this case, or you can actually key in a station by picking on the station that it has out there. You can key in a different station and it'll move it to that location. So that's placing a bridge. There's a new thing here in ConceptStation. It's called Ramp Designer. So there's several different ramp designs that are already built into the system. And what it'll do is we're going to put a ramp in on this north quadrant here. And we're going to go into the road tools and Ramp Designer. And that first option in there has 4 different types of ramps that are built into the system. Free loop, simple direct, stop diagonal. And we're going to go over a couple of these. You can go out and change the template that it's using. Currently, it's using some bridge one, so we're going to change it to a ramp one. And I'll show you how to do the free loop first. So we're just going to change it to a simple curve, speed of 45, radius of 500. And we're going to do a parallel one. And secondary will be parallel as well. Okay. If you can't get it to work quite right for you the first time, change the radius and that'll help. So primary road, we're going to change Route 50, select Route 50 there, and then we're going to go out and pick on our new Polite Road, and it will try to design a ramp for us right there. And we'll right click to accept that and it'll draw it in. Then we can go out and select it and kind of see it did a little chevron for us there. Um, and you can click on that loop ramp anywhere on it, and you can adjust certain things. So it's got a profile that it's drawn out there. You can adjust that just by clicking on it again, just like any of the other new roads. If you click on portions of it, you can adjust the radius. So right now we have 500 foot on both of those. Those can be modified, and that's the loop ramp. One of the other ramps then is the simple direct. We'll kind of show that one. That's the second ramp type. Everything in here can pretty much stay the same. This time I'll make my primary road Polite Road, and Route 50 will be my secondary road. And I can get those out there, and then I can right click out there in the screen to place that out there. I can change anything on the fly too if I want, but I'll just right click to place that out. And you can kind of see it's made a connection there for you. And you can adjust that connection where it actually lines up with Route 50 on this case. And you can key in a station also. Okay, so those adjustments can be made. Maybe there's an issue right in this location. Maybe it doesn't like maybe the 500 foot for the radius. So we'll click in there. Maybe we'll change that to 400 feet. We'll enter that in and see how that affects our template, our information. Okay, zoom out a little bit, and it kind of looks like it might have healed it a little bit better for us. We can adjust the other one to 400 foot. Enter that in, and it's starting to look a little bit better. So you have to play around with some of the numbers that come along with these ramps, but they do make for a pretty nice ramp design. You can still adjust the end at this location. So those are the ramp designer. The next thing we have is a divided road. And so the divided road is in the road placement tools, and you get to tell it which two roadways, which two templates you want to use for each side, and the distance between them. Then all you have to do is have a new roadway that you've designed out there. It can't be an existing road. Left click to start it, left click to end it for a second point, and it will go in and draw in your divided roadway based on the two templates that you have. Okay, the next thing then is a ramp connection. Ramp connection is a little bit different than Ramp Designer. Ramp Designer allows you to kind of design a loop ramp or a simple ramp out there, simple direct. This one will allow you to connect to the roadway. So what we're doing is we're going to the roadway tools, and we're going to tell it what we're going to actually place a ramp out there. So we're going to go to the road tools and pick on a ramp folder, and we're just going to place a one lane ramp off of this Route 50. Again, this needs to be a new roadway and not an existing roadway. So I'm going to switch to the top to make it a little easier. And I'm going to draw out my own ramp using that template. So I'll left click in here, and I'm just going to come out here and draw in how I want this ramp to work. So I'll cross over that center line a little bit so it shows up in the profile. And then for this ramp, I want to make sure that my profile looks good. And by that I mean that the end of the ramp comes up and meets the edge of the roadway on one end. And if I go in here, I can adjust the profile a little bit more. I can raise it up a little. And then at the other end, I want to make sure that I'm also pretty close to the roadway elevation that it's coming from. Once I have the profile in there correctly, I can use the intersection tool here as we saw earlier and just click on the main line and then my new ramp, and it will place that in there. I can right click in a blank area and that should fill in my intersection. And then at the other end, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to place a tapered ramp connection. So I'll go to ramp connection, make sure this says tapered. That seems to work the best on a ramp connection such as this. And then I'm going to left click on the Route 50 and then left click on my new ramp. And then it's going to try and put that in there, and I'll right click and it will give me a ramp connection. Then I can go in and click on that connection and make some modifications if I want to. So it comes in with an 88-foot radius to begin with. I can change that to whatever I want it to be. Enter that in and it will update and modify that. Then you've got a couple little transition sections on each side that it creates by default. I'll change that to 100 and it'll go ahead and modify that, change my striping and everything.